Subscribe to our channel by clicking the subscribe button. Click the bell button and enjoy the latest uploads from our channel.
Now is the time where we have to learn about a special type of variable. This type of variable can hold multiple values like a list, and it can be written in a few different ways. The regular way to manage a list of variables is to use multiple variables with a similar name. And this is probably what we've been doing so far, is where if we have three different names, we go name 1, name 2, and name 3, Bob, Bill, and Joe. The problem is that we have to look through all of these variables and often know exactly which variable is holding what name. Now that can be very, very difficult to track down, especially if you end up having like 200 or 300 variables like this. It would be a lot easier just to put it all into a list and then let the code sort it out. So first one, we have a regular array. To start a new array, we should first define it. So we have variable myArray is equal to new array. New is in lowercase letters, and array has a capital A with parentheses. After we declare that, we can start adding to it. And we would do that like so. Again, we have variable myArray, new array, myArray, and then this is the index number, and it always starts at 0. Computers always start at 0 because to them 0 is a number. To people, 0 is nothing. There's nothing there. But to computers, 0 is a number. So myArray, 0 for the index number. The index number is wrapped around hard brackets like that, is equal to Bob. MyArray 1 is equal to Bill, and MyArray 2 is equal to Joe. This is very similar to writing our different variables, but now we can sort them using loops and other functions. And by being similar, I mean we had to still write it out 3 times like this, 3 different lines. The only difference is we're adding to the same variable. We're putting the first item in a list, a second item in a list, and a third item in a list. So to continue from the example up here, we have document write, myArray 0, conjugation, and conjugation, myArray 2, our friends. Well, if we look at this, myArray 0 is equal to Bob, and myArray 2 is equal to Joe. So this should say Bob and Joe are friends, just like it does down here. Another way to show you how the index number works is we have a variable, we have a hard bracket like that, our number, and our number starts at 0, not 1, another hard bracket, and then our value. So our example from above would be myArray 1 is equal to Bill. Oh, and one more thing is the reason we do this, we declare that it's an array and not just a plain variable. When we do this, we're telling JavaScript, hey, this is going to have more than one value in here. So don't freak out. This is not an error, this is the way you should handle it. Alternatively, we could sum up all the lines above into one line, and this is called a condensed array. So to condense it, all we do is we write a variable, myArray, and that's the variable name or the array name, new array, and then instead of just having close parentheses like this, we wrote Bob, quotations around it because it's a string, comma to separate it, Bill, same thing, quotations around it, comma to separate it, and Joe, quotations around it. So you know that we use quotations around strings, and I'll probably stop mentioning this soon. But you might not know that we use commas to separate list items. So we use a comma here because there's going to be another one after Bob. We use a comma here because there's going to be another value after Bill. There's no comma after Joe because there's nothing after Joe. Joe is the last one. Just like when you write a list on paper. And just so you know, this can go on and on and on. And your array can have any amount of values that you like. It can have 2 values, 3 values, 10 values, 1,000 values. It doesn't matter. You can also set it up to have 1 value and then add to it later. You can also, if you wanted to, just define that myArray is a new array. And after that, if you need to add to it later in your code, say 200 lines down or something, then that's already defined, and you already know that that is an array, and that it will hold multiple values. So, just to touch on this once more, Bob would be index 0, Bill would be index 1, and Joe right here would be index 2. To continue, go on and on would be 3, and on would be 4. It's an easy way to think about how the index numbers work. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Just minus 1. 1 minus 1 is 0. 2 minus 1 is 1. 3 minus 1 is 2. 3, and then the fourth one. And there's any